from Kingston to Mandeville, from Port Antonio to Negril, the Caribbean islands stand with you in your recovery from that Category 5 hurricane, simply known as Melissa. That is the bigger story than any football match that can be played, and all our hearts and thoughts are with the Jamaicans tonight. However, there is business to take care of, and it comes in the form of Group B. Jamaica comes in tonight standing at 9 points. They need 4 points to ensure their ticket to the United States or North America for the 2026 World Cup. Trinidad and Tobago must win tonight to stay in the discussion and have a chance next Tuesday to take that final step to the big dance. Well, the Hasely Crawford Stadium is going to be buzzing in just about 10 minutes as the players are going to make their way onto the field. Trinidad and Tobago have not lost on this ground for over 4 years, but they come up against a familiar foe in Jamaica. These two teams are rivals at the very best, and anyone who speaks a word of English in the Caribbean knows that this is the Caribbean Derby, and tonight they square off, lock horns in a match with devastating consequences in their strive to get to the World Cup. The fans are out waving the flags, and that tempo is going to be sustained for the next 2 hours. Well, the head-to-head matchup between these two teams has taken a turn towards the Reggae Boys. In the last 7 meetings between these two teams, Jamaica have won 5 games and drawn just 2. The last time they've played in a competitive match was in the Concacaf Gold Cup in 2023. Jamaica won by 4-1. Trinidad and Tobago defeated Jamaica in their last time in 2023. It was a friendly match when Rayon Moore scored coming off the bench in Montego Bay, by Trinidad and Tobago winning by 1-0. Well, Jamaica have all the momentum in this head-to-head match, but when it comes to the qualifiers in the October round, Trinidad and Tobago are the ones with the momentum. They defeated Bermuda by 3-0 to have some confidence going into a very tough match against Curacao. And after a grinding affair, they came out of there with a 1-1 draw and 4 points to the good. Jamaica, on the other hand, they went into Curacao and they were shell-shocked with a 2-0 loss, their first loss of the campaign, which set them back. However, they gathered their confidence, went back to Jamaica and defeated Bermuda by 4-0, the second time they've defeated Bermuda by that same scoreline. Coach Steve McLaren, at the bottom of your screen, has talked more about emotion rather than tactics in his pre-conference. He talked about fighting for the badge. He talked about heart. He understands that the players know exactly what's at stake. He said the Jamaican fans at home, the Jamaican players have to feel what the Jamaican fans are feeling at home at this very moment, recovering from the hurricane. They have to feel that strife and play with that desperation tonight in Hasely Crawford. As for TNT, well, it is simple. They do not win, they do not qualify, and they have the weight of a nation behind them in the background, playing for them in the next 90 minutes. For the Jamaicans back home, hopefully the next 2 hours can entertain you and take your mind off of the recovery. And as the defender Lowe said, the biggest present we can give the Jamaicans is a smile tonight. So the Reggae Boys are playing with the Jamaican badge and the heart of Jamaican pride tonight. As the anthems are about to play, it is the red, black and white against the black, green and gold. Trinidad and Tobago against Jamaica coming up next. Well, you can hear the fans. Will there be a 12th man tonight? The Sea of Red has shown up. It is something of folklore. John Harkes, the US national player, talked about the Sea of Red in that 1989 affair in which the US defeated Trinidad and Tobago in Hasely Crawford Stadium. And the fans have shown up tonight for the local team as they try to support Trinidad and Tobago one last time against Jamaica for all the marbles. Well, Trinidad and Tobago have made 3 substitutions. Cardenas at right back comes out for Darren Payne. Daniel Phillips comes in for Khan. And Justin Garcia has come in for Trimmingham at the back as Dwight York shows up with a 4-5-1, actually a 4-4-2, which will turn into a 4-5-1 defensively against Jamaica's speed on the wings. Dante Sealy, Levi Garcia, the 2 deadliest players up top, lead the line for the Soca Warriors as they try to find goals at home to tip the scales tonight. Our officials tonight: Walter Lopez, Gritzel Corrales, Raimundo Feliz, and Sylvian Brown from Honduras are the 4 men in the middle who will dictate the discipline in this match. No doubt it's going to be played with full of emotion, and these men in black are in charge in stemming the tide. Well, Coach Steve McLaren has talked nothing about heart and hustle in this match tonight, understanding that this TNT team is getting better and better. And as we have the 2 captains in the middle of the park, Andre Blake, who has played for Philadelphia Union for 12 years, one of the best keepers in CONCACAF, against Levi Garcia, who's now recognized as maybe the best striker in the CONCACAF region. He'll be leading the line for TNT. Well, VAR. These are our referees in the hot seat: Diana Perez and Jesus Montero of Mexico and Costa Rica. They've had to come into play on 3 separate occasions in the last time these 2 teams met in Jamaica. Levi Garcia, of course, scoring on 3 separate occasions, and VAR stepped in on twice to rule all 3 goals out to be offside. Jamaica come out in a 4-2-1-3, and Steve McLaren has made 3 changes. Mason Holgate has come in for Lembikisa at right back. Palmer has stepped out. Damari Gray has stepped into midfield. Roman Burrell, the man in form, has come in for Nicholson up top, and Jonathan Russell has come in for Kaheem Dixon in the attacking midfield position. Well, you can take form out of the window. You can take goals for and goals against and just throw it over your shoulder. It is the Caribbean Derby. It is the El Clasico. And Jamaica's get us underway, going from right to left in their black, yellow, and green. And Trinidad in their red, black, and white from left to right on your screen. Ryan Davis with you on the call. And the next 90 minutes can dictate Group B and decide if Jamaica book their tickets to the North America 2026 World Cup, or Trinidad and Tobago stay alive. And it's going to be the first clearance coming from TNT as the ball bubbles around in midfield. Coming back is Burrell, the man in form. He has scored 4 goals in his last 5 matches, playing for Queen's Park Rangers. This is Andre Raymond playing in Finland. Jamaica get back possession. Looking inside. And it's going to be Jaren Jackie, his first touch. Here's Kobe Henry, who scored against Bermuda 2 matches ago. Ball going over the top. And a comfortable header by Lee at left back. The left back Lee was the player of the match against Trinidad and Tobago 2 months ago in Kingston. He had the assist for Russell. And Andre Blake, with 91 appearances for Jamaica, is still the rock at the back for the Reggae Boys. Well, Dwight Yorke, the former Manchester United man, was given the responsibility a year ago in November 2024. He has taken his time. He has seen over 60 players and trying to chop and change to create a squad that can compete at the national level. And he has ticked that box as TNT has moved up into that ranking. Steve McLaren, the former Manchester United assistant coach who coached Dwight Yorke in the 1999 treble season for Man United, is now at the helm for Jamaica. He's talked about this 18-month journey in coming from England to Jamaica and trying to get Jamaica to the ultimate goal, their second appearance at the World Cup, and they're right at the doorstep in achieving that goal. To the corner flag we go. Ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a goal kick for the Soca Warriors. Well, there is the number 17, Justin Garcia, who's stepping in for Trimmingham. The last time Garcia's put on the Trinidad and Tobago uniform was against Saudi Arabia in the final match of the Concacaf Gold Cup. That was a 1-1 draw. He's back in the lineup tonight. This is Kobe Henry. Turning is Andre Rampersad, who has become a Dwight Yorke favourite. Russell. Rampersad gets it back, playing in Canada for Halifax. The Canadian season is over, the USL season is over, and this is a ball played through, and it's Levi Garcia, heavy touch, and that allows Blake to get hold of it and start Jamaica on a slight counter. Levi Garcia's first touch let him down, but Garcia is a player in form. 2 goals and 2 assists for Spartak Moscow in his last 4 matches. Out wide, Jamaica. Referee says play on, and TNT get back possession. Jackie, who's playing a defensive midfield role, alongside Phillips and Rampersad. And that's your first look at the number 4, Mason Holgate, who has retained his position 8 seasons with Everton. Holgate, Premier League experience, and he's being picked tonight to play right back to replace the very fast and overlapping Lembikisa, and Holgate being a more conservative right back, of course being on the road in a tight affair. Here's Dante Sealy. That was Payne, who got the nod for Cardenas tonight. Dante Sealy, 4 goals in 9 appearances for TNT. He has scored 3 goals in his last 5 appearances for Nashville. The last time Trinidad and Tobago beat Jamaica in a competitive affair was in 2001, a Caribbean Cup, as the Reggae Boys have pulled away in this incredible matchup, this incredible rivalry, in which Trinidad and Tobago has left wanting. They defeated Jamaica right here on this ground by 2 goals to 0. Angus Eve and Brett Rahim were the scorers that day. As for Jamaica, that 4-1 win against Trinidad and Tobago was in St. Louis in USA. Here's Payne and Sealy. Payne to the byline. Lee appeals for the goal kick, and he wins that argument. Well, Darren Payne, who plays in the Netherlands, has been chosen. He was on the fringes of being selected for this national team. Took some time to get his passports, finally did so, and is now considered a more than worthy right back to replace Cardenas, who is the Crystal Palace right back. Darren plays for FC Volendam in the Netherlands. And Andre Blake, of course, plays for Philadelphia Union in the MLS. Throw in for TNT. Jamaica's defense has been the most stingiest of any team in Group B. They've only conceded 2 goals so far. Those 2 goals were away to Curacao, in which they were literally ambushed in the South American Dutch country. They have scored 10 goals and have a goal difference of +8. Lofted ball to the corner flag. Going over is Russell, and it's going to be a goal kick for TNT. Well, Jonathan Russell from Barnsley has been chosen for his second appearances in 3 matches. He's picked for his versatility and his ability to track back, and Steve McLaren, who has picked players who he trusts, and he said that word on more than one occasion in his pre-match conference. He said these reggae boys that he has selected have been dedicated to the team from day one, from 18 months ago. Even though he's chopped and changed players, the players tonight have shown their ability to stick to a plan and come out with results. Over the top, and a misread at the back from Holgate, but Blake quickly off his line. Andre Blake is 12th all-time in appearances for Jamaica, trying to crack that top 10. Here is Russell. Played back inside, and the heavy touch allows Henry to clear. Awkward bounce. Going down, referee calls for a free kick. That is the first free kick of the match, and it's taken us 9 minutes, and it's Isaac Hayden taken quickly. Here is Lee, who had that assist to Russell for the second goal against TNT in September. Here's Cephas, and the tackle by Payne, and this is going to be a matchup that everyone is going to keep their eyes on. The Netherlands defender, Payne, going up against Cephas, who is the difference maker for Jamaica, plays for FC Paris in Russia, the number 20 for Jamaica, and he ran riot against Cardenas in September. Well, coming across is Damari Gray, who scored twice against Trinidad and Tobago in that Gold Cup affair in 2023. Lofted to the back post, played back in. Here's Holgate. A touch by Phillips. And the hard man in midfield holding off 2 yellow shirts. And wins the throw-in as well. Phillips did not get a chance to start against Jamaica in Jamaica because he had a suspension. But Daniel Phillips of Stevenage. And this is Andre Raymond, the former teammate of Phillips in Stevenage. Now plays in Finland. Levi Garcia, who has 10 goals for the national team, but does so much more than that for Dwight York. Holds the ball up and creates for others, most notably Sealy and Spicer on the wings. A noticeable player left out for the TNT starting lineup, Kevin Molino, the MLS long-time player and Trinidad and Tobago modern legend, is on the bench tonight. Kevin Molino scored against Jamaica in the Unity Cup in May, and he'll no doubt be called upon tonight for his attacking services in attacking midfield, most likely in the second half. Well, Denzel Smith, who always seems to perform when he puts on the national shirt, does not have a stable job, plays for AV Alta in the USL League One. But somehow, when called to the national team, seems to do a fantastic job in between the posts. Heavy tackle. Here's Phillips. Rampasad. Out wide to Silly. The tricky Silly on that left foot. Shot from way outside. And the first effort on goal from TNT is a wide one. And that's Tyrese Spicer, who has scored in 2 consecutive matches for TNT. He scored the second goal against Bermuda and the equalizer against Curacao in October. Spicer then came back into the MLS for Orlando City and scored on his very next appearance. And the left footer is oozing in form. Here's our first look at Roman Burrell, and we mentioned how much in form he is. 4 goals in 5 matches, and as one of the assistant coaches will say on the Jamaican national team, well, if he's hot, let's play him. And Steve McLaren nodded, agreed, and Burrell is now in for the legendary Shamar Nicholson. The game is a bit subdued, almost played like a final, with both teams not wanting to concede in the early stages of a match. Spicer coming inside, hounded by Lee. Hayden slips it through, bumped off by Sealy. Out wide to Andre Raymond. Spicer makes a run, and an awkward hop dealt with by King. Here's Cephas coming all the way back, and he's met by Payne. And everywhere Cephas goes, Payne will follow. Well, Cephas, player of the match, the number 20 against Bermuda in that 4-0 affair. He had 2 assists against Bermuda, and he has a separate gear that no other player has on the field. Andre Blake saying 2 challenges by the same player to the referee, and he wants Payne to be at least spoken to by the referee. Here's Cephas, he's onside, 1v1 with Payne, comes into that right foot, and the shot is blocked by Kobe Henry, but the offside flag then comes up. The assistant referees are asked to delay that call and have VAR pick up the responsibility. There's Henry. But we promise you to give you updates on the Curacao-Bermuda match, which is being played simultaneously. Remember, Curacao is just 1 point behind Jamaica, 3 points ahead of Trinidad. They have just scored against Bermuda a penalty after just 6 minutes, and there is the live standings. Curacao has just leapfrogged Jamaica. Curacao and Jamaica will play on Tuesday in Kingston. And understanding the temperature in Jamaica, Sports Minister Olivia Granger had a special press briefing at the Jamaica House this week, and they organised a coordinated effort in the acceptance of cash and donations that will be carried out when the Reggae Boys face Curacao. This ball goes over the top, headed down. Here's Lee, and cleared away by King. A special effort to connect donations when these two teams lock horns on Tuesday in the final round of Concacaf World Cup qualifying in the National Stadium in November. So the Jamaican viewers listening to this show up in droves at the National Stadium. Here's the cross coming in from Raymond. Well, over the last 7 meetings, over the last 2 years between these two teams, Jamaica have outscored Trinidad and Tobago by 10 goals to 4. Here's Burrell, and he is pushed over by Henry, taken quickly. Damari Gray, who plays for Leicester City, finding Holgate, the former Everton man. And that was a dummy by Russell, and Payne read it. Deron Payne, who has an older brother who plays in the Eredivisie. There's Devon Smith, who has not faced a shot as yet. And we're 18 minutes in. Ethan Pinnock from Brentford FC. Long throw. Headed out, and it falls kindly top of the box. He shot. Holgate's effort. Ball still pinging around, out by Phillips. And the offside flag goes up, and a save by Smith. And the referee has now called the attention of the goalkeeper. It will be a free kick for TNT. Well, the first bit of unrest in the 18-yard box for TNT. Denzel Smith's show of hand. This is his 24th appearance for the national team. And the young man who has gone all against the expectations, playing in a USL League One, not getting consistent time, continues to respond and show up for the national team. Little 1-2 to Spicer. Players collide. Jamaica get back possession. Referee wants to slow things down. Tyrese Spicer is in a heap in the Hasely Crawford Stadium and is writhing in pain. This was Holgate. There was a collision. Spicer is still down and is still feeling for that shin. There's Dwight York having a quick talk with the fourth official, Selvin Brown. And Spicer is continuing to lay in a very awkward position. Here's Henry and Payne, just trying to get on the same page at right centre-back and right back. And there's Damari Gray. Well, these two teams played in the Unity Cup, which is a very unique cup that's played just outside London to represent the poor or the underserved community in England. Jamaica defeated Trinidad and Tobago by 3-2. Got a penalty in the 90th minute that was converted. And there's the Soca Warriors faithful Tyrese Spicer, the former MLS Super Draft #1 pick, limps off. And Steve McLaren, who made it very clear after TNT and the Jamaican Football Federation agreed to play all these friendlies, he said one thing: my observation of Trinidad and Tobago is that they have gotten better with every single match that we've played against them. And he expects a torrid affair tonight amongst the Sea of Red. Well, Dwight York, who was in Dubai after leading his Australian team to the Australian Cup, got a call from a very enthusiastic young TTFA president, Mr. Edwards. He accepted that call and accepted the challenge to become the Trinidad and Tobago head coach a year ago today. Not today, but this month. Depending on the outcome of this match, like we mentioned a little earlier, Jamaica will have to go back home to take on the Dutch Concacaf team in Curacao. That would be an absolute barn burner. And Trinidad and Tobago will welcome in the lowly Bermuda on Tuesday night. So if TNT can eke out a win, that will put them in a very, very good position come Tuesday night against Bermuda, who they beat 3-0. Here's Cephas and Payne going at it again. Cephas twisting, turning, lofted to the last post, and Russell was knocking on the door, and Andre Raymond doing his job at the back. Well, he was once a super sub for Steve McLaren, Cephas, and now he's the go-to left winger for the Reggae Boys. Henry under pressure by Russell. Over the top, headed out by Pinnock. Cephas again, probing. Jamaica just slowing things down. At the 25-minute mark, the possession, Trinidad and Tobago 64% to Jamaica's 36. But the expected goals goes to Jamaica, as their 36% possession has been more creative and more dangerous. Payne again battling and won that battle, but there's still a war ahead. Trying to lay it back for Sealy is Andre Rampersad. Dinking it over, Levi Garcia. Onside, Garcia. Red shirts coming into the middle, still Garcia. Garcia! Well, it was only about 2 yards wide. And the fans are on their feet. Twisting and turning. He got the better of Richard King, and Andre Blake was left for dead. Garcia is as two-footed as they come as a forward, and his right foot just hooked it wide of that last post. Like I mentioned, 2 assists, 2 goals with his club Spartak Moscow in his last 4 appearances, coming off the bench for his team. And after all that twisting and turning, Richard King has gone to ground. Richard King, the Cavalier SC player, local Jamaican player, spent 1 season in Iceland, and maybe the cold was just a little too much for the Yari, and he came right back home to pick up his profession. And there's Cephas, who's having a little smile. Well, he's having a hammer and nail affair with Payne. And this is Levi Garcia going back to work against King. And this is that taking the responsibility sort of attitude that Levi Garcia has with the captain's armband on his shoulder. Both coaches, and King is making the universal sign to the sideline that he needs to be substituted, and referee Lopez is adamant that he needs to go off behind the goal before any substitutions can take place. And with that scowl, message sent. Holgate and Blake having a quick discussion. And does TNT push forward with a press? Andre Blake recognizing it and is going to choose to go long to Burrell. Jamaica's throw. And you can see that sea of red that John Harkes talked about. The stadium holds 20,000. Well, on that merry day, on November 19th, 1989, it held 27,000. And Cephas has now gone to ground. And the fans are not appreciating this. Coming across is Bobby de Cordova-Reid. Cephas finally gets back to his feet, and this could be catastrophic for Steve McLaren if King and Cephas have to be substituted. And it seems to be a pandemic. Andre Blake is now gone to ground. Well, we can understand why King went to ground after that Levi Garcia. But Andre Blake is raising his hand to let the referee know that he's not in good shape. And down he goes. And see. Well, it looks like the sign was given to Cephas, and he received that sign, and he has gone to and he's gone to ground. When the players back in the Hasely Crawford Stadium, and the clearance to the halfway line, brought down by Garcia, crowded out by some yellow shirts, and Jackie can't keep possession. Here's Burrell, and at this point both teams have a bit of hot potato going on. Bumped off by Garcia, and Holgate will win the free kick. Well, here's that change for Jamaica. King is coming off, and in his place is number 17, Damian Lowe, who made the announcement that the best gift that we can give the Jamaican people tonight is a smile on their face, a result tonight, and he's now stepped in for King. Spicer with the cross, and Seeley goes to ground. Lowe gets his first touch. There is Dante Seeley from Nashville. Raymond goes back to Kobe Henry, who scored this third goal against Bermuda, a header to get his first goal for the national team. Quite the story, Kobe Henry, struggling at the club level, just like Denzel Smith. But but has come leaps and bounds with the national team. Kobe Henry from the USL skipped the MLS and went straight to Europe, playing for Nice in France. There's the experience, Holgate, 8 seasons with Everton, and now he's playing for Al Gharafa in Qatar. Is Bobby de Cordova-Reid under pressure, and a timely touch to Lee. Lee going over the top. Henry concedes the throw-in. Trinidad and Tobago conceded their first goal against Jamaica from this very angle, a long throw, and Kadamateri turned on Kobe Henry to score the first goal for Jamaica. Here's Pinnock's throw again. Out comes Smith, doesn't get to it. Little back heel. And it's going to be a Jamaica corner. It's going to be their second of the evening. Here's Damari Gray, plays for Al Ettifaq in Saudi Arabia. Plays with the likes of Gini Wijnaldum, Moussa Dembele and João Costa. Certainly rubs shoulders with some of the best in the sport. To the penalty spot they go. Phillips, turning on that far side is Lowe, the centre-back, who just came in for King. Phillips again, out wide. The crowd just needs something to cheer about. Jackie. They keep possession. Spicer getting his way is Rampasad. And Jamaica can't keep possession themselves. Andre Raymond. Rampasad. Kobe Henry. Seeley's touch overlapping his Payne. Out of his goal is Blake, and a misunderstanding. And Andre Blake, his Payne, crossing to the last post, showing up in Spicer, saved by Blake. Spicer goes down, referee waves it off. It's Gray. Throw it for TNT, first real chance between these two teams, and it was Tyrese Spicer with the volley. Excellent ball by Payne. He picked out Spicer coming in at the last post. He met it beautifully, and Andre Blake, as sure as ever, and in his 92nd cap for Jamaica, comes up with a huge save to keep this score at 0-0. Seeley takes it quickly. Phillips. Slide tackle. Slip through, protected by Pinnock, only as far as Seeley. Kept in play. Payne with time. Goes back into the mixer. Headed out by Lowe. Gray under pressure from Jackie. And the big midfielder wins possession. Raymond. Andre Raymond. So minute 32, Curacao gets their second goal to go up 2-0 over Bermuda. And this is the live standings again. Curacao leapfrogging Jamaica at this very point. These are live standings as Curacao double their lead to 2-0 over Bermuda. Sealy. Here's Russell holding off Henry. Sealy again getting involved over the top. Here's Lowe's header. And Isaac Hayden can't keep possession. Levi Garcia turns, trying to get creative, and stepping back is Russell, who's answering the bell for McLaren on why he was selected tonight in hostile territory. Burrell can't keep possession, and a free kick for TNT. And the tug of the shirt taken quickly by Rampersad. Phillips. Tyrese Spicer, the man in form, on that right foot, gets back to the left foot and was hurried by Gray, who checked all the way back from attacking midfield. Well, Tyrese Spicer, so much expectations on him with the being that #1 pick in the MLS Super Draft, has answered the bell for Orlando City as well as the national team. Played over the top, looking for Russell. And that's Garcia, who concedes the corner kick. It'll be #3 for Jamaica. And Garcia wants some communication from his backline and his goalkeeper. Late addition to the lineup, Justin Garcia. Garcia plays his football in Vietnam. Gray having some words with the official about the positioning and the blade of grass. Yellow shirts, 6 yellow shirts into the box. Crossed in, headed out by Garcia, only as far as Gray. Recycles, Reed. Early ball in, and it's in the back of the net! Jamaica has broken the deadlock, but the offside flag has gone up. It will not count. Jamaica want VAR to have a second look, but the fans want nothing to do with it. As of now, the linesman has waved it off with his flag. And Jonathan Russell from Barnsley. Early ball in. And there was Russell coming back from an offside position. And there's the assistant referee's flag on the far side. Well, VAR having a second look. Steve McLaren understanding what's at stake. Where's Russell? And maybe Phillips kept him onside on this near side. It will absolutely be a dream for the Reggae boys, a relief of pressure, but it would be a small dagger into the side of TNT. Referee Lopez, all eyes on him. And offside, the final call. The goal will not stand as his left shoulder of Russell was beyond the line of Phillips. Score remains at 0-0, 5 minutes remaining in this cagey affair between the Reggae boys and the Soca Warriors. Rampersad. Here is Smith. Jamaica coming into this match had 3 headed goals in in the 8 qualifying matches. That is the first round and the second round. That would be their 4th headed goal if it had counted. TNT only has 1 headed goal in the campaign. Here's low, and you can understand why Jamaica are pushing yellow shirts forward anytime there's a set piece, whether it's a long throw or a corner. There is Holgate. Low, and into the arms of Blake. Well, the Jamaican players understand that they are playing for the pride and they are wearing the hearts of the people of Jamaica tonight. Hurricane Melissa has left a path of destruction from Black River all the way through to Montego Bay and everywhere in between. The recovery is going to be slow, but if the Reggae Boys can provide just a little bit of relief to the people at home, it will be well worth it. Steve McLaren understanding their date with Curacao on Tuesday, and with the playing at the back line, understanding the need for caution, and Phillips as ever breaks up the play. The destroyer in midfield goes down, and referee Lopez appreciates the contact. Here's Reed. Cephas with Payne, locking horns on this near side through the legs of Payne, and Jackie with those broad shoulders brushes off the challenge. Here's Seeley. Rampasad, who is a fixture for Dwight York in midfield. Rampasad is actually 3rd in aerial duels in Concacaf World Cup qualifying. He is excellent header of the ball, and a misunderstanding with Raymond and Spicer. Hands on hips time for the left back. Well, down goes Isaac Hayden, the Queen's Park Ranger midfielder, who was touted as the linchpin, the catalyst in midfield for McLaren tonight. There's that challenge from Spicer, who was on the wrong end of a very hefty challenge coming from Hayden early on in the first half. No love lost between those two. So we're in the 45th minute, and full time in the first half has just been completed. We are in injury time, but because of the amount of injuries, 8 minutes are going to be added on. As Seeley comes inside, Garcia overlapping Payne. Yellow shirts swarming. Phillips. Early cross by Payne, out by Lowe, who's been called into action since he's come in for King. Spicer getting to the byline. Spicer cleared out by Hayden. Isaac Hayden, who's back on his feet, did pick up a knock in training before this match. As a very anxious Trinidad and Tobago fan base looks on. Spicer's throw. Headed out by Holgate. The missed kick allows Garcia his Payne, who seems to be very comfortable with crossing the ball. Dante Seeley. Well, Dante Seeley from Montreal has been a spark coming down towards the end of the MLS season for the Canadian team. And he's also been that spark for the Soca Warriors. Darren Payne. Payne shrugs off one. Rampersad into the feet of Garcia, holding off low. Phillips through ball to Payne. Onside, he goes down. And the gesture by Cephas. And referee understanding that Payne went down on his own fruition. Excellent ball by Phillips, splitting the lines, and there's Cephas with his shoulder. And it's going to be a corner kick for TNT, their very first corner kick of the match. And we're in the 47th plus 35 second minute of this first half. And it's going to be Silly with an in-swinger. 5 red shirts inside or on top the 6-yard box. It is going to be in Andre Blake's kitchen. Swung in, the header. Last touch of a yellow or red. Referee Lopez looks, and it's going to be a Soca Warrior throw. Taken quickly. The cross again to the far post. Headed back in by Garcia. Over the head of Cephas, little flick. But TNT have the Reggae Boys pinned. But they go all the way back to Smith. Dwight York trying to bring back his team to find their shape. Henry trying to find Spicer on that far side. And Spicer, with all the athleticism, gets past Holgate. Spicer, Garcia's flick, and cleared away by Lee. Raymond, early cross, out by Hayden. And it's been one-way traffic over the last 5 minutes towards Andre Blake's goal. Corner flag pass, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Reggae Boys, just to relieve the tension. And you can understand that Gregory Lee is not going to be in any hurry to get this ball back in with the amount of pressure that Jamaica has sustained over the last 5 minutes. Hayden, great, weaving through traffic. Out by Lee, who is crowded, and it's going to be a throw-in for TNT. Just over 2.5 minutes remaining in injury time in this first half. Looking for Spicer again, and Holgate seems to be second-guessing himself, but it's going to be a throw-in for Jamaica. Holgate brought in for the speedy Dexter Lembikisa at right back. Tyrese Spicer has been exploiting the slower Holgate in the first 45 minutes. Holgate, however, does have that experience at 29 years old. Lofted ball, and it's going to be a TNT throw with Payne. There's Cephas, who's had a mixed first half, had an excellent start, and then Darren Payne worked himself into the match at right back and has locked down Cephas in the second half of the first half. Spicer goes to ground. Here's Holgate. Awkward pass, and Spicer gets back possession. Waiting for support. Garcia. Coming back was Hayden with an important touch. Lowe's clearance. Still a minute to go in injury time. Awkward clearance by Henry. Cephas brought down. Here's Payne again. Well, if there's a hammer and there's a nail, there is Cephas and there is Payne. Lee's throw. Out by Henry. Jamaica will want to take this throw and make it to be the last possession of this first half. Dwight York, who has organized this team in the most competitive way possible, with defense first, midfield airtight, and an attacking trio that can break down any defense. But Pinnock is going to launch another missile in the direction of TNT's 18-yard box. 5 yellow shirts. Flicked on. Missed kick allows Reed. Out of play, and referee Lopez has seen enough for the first half. The El Clasico of the Caribbean is deadlocked at 0-0. Trinidad and Jamaica cannot split the difference after 45 minutes. Jamaica had the ball in the back of the net through Jonathan Russell. It was ruled offside. Then it was Andre Blake coming to the rescue of Tyrese Spicer from a fantastic volley. But the score remains deadlock. Deron Payne has done a job on Cephas at the right back position, and Garcia, the late addition for Trimmingham, has done his job as Dwight York and TNT try to find their way against Steve McLaren and Jamaica in this World Cup qualifier in the Hasely Crawford Stadium. After 45 minutes, Trinidad and Tobago 0, Jamaica 0. When we come back, we'll have first half stats and highlights. Well, with pride of a nation of Jamaica after the devastation of Melissa, it's Jamaica the Reggae Boys taking the field for the first time since that catastrophic hurricane as they represent their island against their Caribbean rivals, Trinidad and Tobago, in the Hasely Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain, with a World Cup qualifier with devastating consequences for both teams. Trinidad and Tobago is trying to stay in the discussion, and Jamaica trying to get a foothold to a World Cup in 2026. It was Payne down on the right-hand side, trying to create inroads against Jamaica, and Dante Sealy from Montreal feeding Spicer rather, and his shot went wide. Then Cephas against Payne, twisting and turning, his cross to the last post, couldn't find Russell, as both of these teams were airtight after 20 minutes. Then Levi Garcia took the responsibility, took on King, twisted, turning, and his shot just missed the last post. And that exchange injured King, and King had to be substituted for the centre-back low. That was the first real chance for both sides, and then Blake having a misunderstanding with both his centre-back. It was Payne's cross to the last post, Spicer's volley, and Andre Blake to the rescue, like he's done for so many years for the national team. The Dutch right back Payne, the Orlando City man Spicer, and Andre Blake coming up trumps. Payne again at right back, taking on Lee, slipping it to Sealy. His shot was a dribbler as TNT worked their way into the match and pegged Jamaica back in the latter parts of the first half. Referee Lopez blowed for the first 45 minutes, but nothing can split the difference between the two teams. So a match played like a real El Clasico. This is the tail of the tape. 2 shots to 1 for Jamaica. Shots on target to Trinidad. Possession, TNT dominating the affair in midfield, but they have not converted that percentage to chances on goal or big chances on goal. Well, when we come back to Hasely Crawford, we will have the second half in TNT. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Hasely Crawford Stadium in Trinidad and Tobago as the El Clasico of the Caribbean continues. Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago 0-0 after the first half. Now, understanding what's at stake tonight in Group B, only one team goes through or books their ticket directly to World Cup 2026. Only the best second place team out of the groupings gets into an intercontinental playoff or a group stage to take a backdoor entrance to the World Cup. Now, Curacao has scored a third goal against Bermuda. They're up 3-0 at home as they push ahead in their lead. They continue to be at 11 points. So TNT get us back on the way from right to left, Jamaica from left to right. Ryan Davis with you on the call from the Hasely Crawford Stadium. Here's Phillips. Both teams sticking with their 11s after Lowe, the centre-back, had to come in for King in the Jamaican outfit. Here's Russell, who had the ball in the back of the net, only to be ruled out offside. Here's Gray. Back out to Russell, onside, the cross comes in. Back out to Gray again. Spicer coming all the way back, picking up his defensive responsibilities. Over the top, Garcia in chase. Garcia! Jamaica breathe again. Levi Garcia making difficult things look easy. Jamaica were caught, ball over the top. One Soca Warrior, two Reggae Boys, and the left-footed volley. Andre Blake looked back in hope as it just went over that crossbar. Well, TNT beginning where they left off in the first half, well, towards the end of the first half. Here's Russell. Top of the box. Gray getting more and more involved. Had 2 goals in that 2023 win in the Gold Cup against TNT. Payne just getting ahead of Cephas, anticipating, and wins the free kick. Well, I tell you what, Deron Payne has come in for the injured Rear Cardenas and has put in a shift so far in the first 47 minutes of this match. Holgate winning the challenge over Spicer. There's Hayden. Here's Rio de Cordova Reed. Holgate down the line again to Russell. Coming across is Raymond. It's going to be Holgate's long throw. And Russell will be deemed for grabbing. Garcia played short, over the top, Payne overlapping, and Jamaica trying to get back in position. It's Lee. Not enough red shirts. Phillips. Towards the last post we go. Brought down by Spicer, educated ball by Payne, by Phillips rather. Holgate. Raymond. And Jamaica get back their defensive shape. That's the type of defensive shape that's only allowed 4 goals in the 8 qualifying matches so far for Jamaica. Payne, early cross. Holgate heads it back to Blake. Does he keep it in? And the linesman does not agree. Corner kick for TNT, the first of the second half. Going across to take it is Daniel Phillips, who's known for his ball-winning abilities in centre midfield, and has imposed himself in this match so far, all the way to the last post. Garcia can't get to it, and Jamaica get back possession. And It's crosses like those that would give coaches an ulcer. After you get all of your players up into an attacking position, Daniel Phillips squanders it. Lee. This Jamaican team has been touted to have the best roster in its history, better than the 1998 roster that made it to France. It is mixed up of EPL players, English Premier League players, and English Championship players. Also some players from Saudi Arabia and one from Qatar, as Spicer. But the one knock on this squad, Smith out of his goal, and a throw in. Referee Lopez, all eyes on him. Looks like it's going to be a throw in for TNT. The one knock on this Jamaican team is that they have not gelled. There seemed to be a bit of hesitation in moving the ball through midfield and creating for the forwards. They have been airtight defensively, only 2 in this group stage, 4 in World Cup qualifying altogether. But they've been, as they say, a little clunky in going forward. And Steve McLaren and Andre Blake has just been clattered into by Garcia on his follow-through. And I believe Levi Garcia knew exactly what he was doing. The squad on paper is certainly the most talented, or one of the most talented squads in Concacaf. Here's that clearance and Garcia just following through. No love lost, and Andre Blake is gesturing. The follow-up by Spicer. And Spicer is on the racing track. And I tell you what, if you ever fell on a racing track, you'll never forget. It is like landing on cement. So it's going to be a throw-in. And there is the hello from Lowe to Spicer. So Tyrese Spicer, as athletic as they get, will take this long throw to the near post, headed down. Phillips leaving it for Spicer. Convincing header. Jamaica still fighting to get it out. Top of the box, Sealy goes down. And now Jamaica have some daylight. One v one with Raymond, a chance for Jamaica, and it's 1-0. It's Cephas has broken the deadlock. Ronaldo Cephas, known for his one-on-one ability, known to be a game breaker, known to be a difference maker. Well, he's made the difference so far tonight. Player of the match against Bermuda with 2 assists. Well, he's come up with a timely goal for the Reggae boys. A sucker punch from a corner kick. 1v1 with Raymond. He snaps inside, Raymond goes to ground, and a cool finish to give the Reggae boys a 1-0 lead at the Hazley Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain, Trinidad. What a move, what a finish. And he hears it from the crowd. Jamaica 1, Trinidad and Tobago 0. No time to rest for Dwight York and his men. They have to win tonight. Kevin Molino on the bench. When will his number be called? Because Ronaldo Cephas has gotten his 3rd goal for Jamaica, and Russell Latapi has his hands on hips. Well, a cagey, airtight first half has just been loosened up by the Reggae Boys. They draw first blood. Can TNT bounce back? Can Jamaica turn the screw? Raymond, who was left for dead against Cephas. Well, living up to the hype is the left winger Ronaldo Cephas, known to be a dribbler, and boy did he dribble. Took care of Raymond and just passed it into the last post to beat Smith. Class and pedigree from the left winger, who plays in Al Ettifaq in Saudi Arabia. Ten minutes into this second half, the Reggae Boys has gotten a foot ahead of TNT and 1 foot into the 2026 World Cup. All they need is 4 points from these 2 games to book their flight to North America. And Burrell, the man in form, has been kept quiet in the first half. He's still leading the line for the Reggae Boys. Lowest cross. Gray. Jamaica starting to find their mojo. Still Gray. Offside the call. Free kick for TNT. Raymond going the direct route to Garcia. Taken quickly, Spicer, and a heavy challenge by Lowe, sending a message. Dwight York, with all of his experience as a player, coming back in tight situations, especially in the 2006 campaign, is going to have to depend on his players tonight. Spicer's throw. Flicked onto the last post, headed out by Pinnock. Rampasad, Sealy helps it on. Out by Pinnock again, cleared away. It's Cephas again, against Raymond again. 1v1. Cephas this time goes to the left foot. Rampasad. Sealy. Henry. Phillips just trying to slow things down. Jamaica trying to get back in their defensive shape. Understand Jamaica will be starting to think of game management. Rampasad marauding forward. Spicer 1v1 with Holgate. It's been a favourable matchup for the Trinidadian. Cross. Payne hurried off the ball by Cephas. And it must be noted that Cephas did not have the best of first halves, but he has taken his chance in the second. He has made the most of an opportunity to give the Reggae Boys the lead. Payne's cross, helped on by Burrell, who at this point has just been hustling, and Raymond being the last player, showing off some confidence. Phillips' early cross, one bounce. Curacao has just made it 5-0 over Bermuda. Darren Payne, Lee stopping the service, a coach's dream. Slipped inside, Sealy. All the way across to Spicer, Raymond overlapping. Still Spicer, his shot! Excellent defending by Holgate. Spicer being forced on that weaker right foot. First time he's come in on that right foot. Here are the live standings. Jamaica taking back the lead over Curacao with that goal by Ronaldo Cephas. Yes, Curacao are leading by 5-0, but that one goal is all Jamaica needed at this point at 12 points, which will mean they will just need 1 point at home against Curacao on Tuesday to ensure victory. If the points stay like this, even if TNT defeat Bermuda on Tuesday to get to 8 points, it will not be enough to catch Curacao on 11. So both Jamaica and Curacao will be battling for that first and automatic, very important automatic position or spot to get to the World Cup on Tuesday night. Phillips to the back post. Coming in was Rampasad. Overhead kick by Lowe. Phillips, Lowe has stayed on the ground and he's asking for treatment. Referee Lopez has not seen it as yet, but he's back on his feet. Spicer's cross, a good cross. And the looping header is from Kobe Henry, who stayed up from the set piece a few minutes ago. Anywhere will do for Blake. Throw in for the visitors. And this is where experience comes into play. This was crossed by Spicer and a looping header coming from Rampasad, who's so dominant in the air. And this man, who's been called into action halfway through the first half, has been incredible after replacing Richard King. A yellow card for Holgate for time wasting. Referee Lopez, a no-nonsense type of referee. Long throw towards the corner flag. Great little touch to Hayden, who's been quiet tonight. Lee at left back, who's staying at home since Dante Sealy has been on patrol at right wing. A missed kick coming from Henry pays off. Rampasad crowded out by 3 Jamaicans and wins the free kick. Taken quickly. Time is of the essence. Trinidad and Tobago cannot do with a draw. They have to get a win. Sealy against Lee. Again he goes down, again he gets the free kick. Cephas coming all the way back to pick up his defensive responsibility. And the Montreal FC player has picked up a free kick, and 2 changes about to be made from the sideline. So the left foot of Sealy and the right foot of Payne. 4 red shirts in swing up. Blake goes out of play for a goal kick, and Jamaica will make 2 substitutions at this period. Look of frustration from Dante Sealy, who's been in such good form for club and country. Jamaica has not taken the opportunity to make the substitutions. On the bench, coming in will be Tyrese Campbell and Kahim Dixon. Here's Raymond. The word from the sidelines is that Damari Gray and Ronaldo Cephas will be taken off. 65 minutes gone in Hasely Crawford Stadium. Ronaldo Cephas has separated these two teams with a fantastic finish to give the Reggae Boys the lead. Lee picking off the pass. Reed. And a free kick for Jamaica. Is that challenge by Phillips, and that might be the last challenge for Phillips, as Kevin Molino is about to make his entrance for the Trinidad and Tobago national team. A out-and-out number 10, and coming in is the new addition. It is going to be Mitchell coming in for Trinidad and Tobago, plays for New York Red Bulls. He's a centre forward, Ralph Mitchell, and coming in for Jamaica, Tyrese Campbell, one of the quickest players on the squad. He's coming from Ronaldo Cephas. Also coming in, Kahim Dixon, coming in for Damari Gray. And the hard man in the middle, Daniel Phillips, will come in for the attacking midfielder Molino, and Mitchell will come in for Dante Sealy. New York Red Bulls 2 player, and Kevin Molino, so one of the youngest players on the TNT squad in Mitchell, and one of the oldest in Molino, with all that experience coming onto the pitch. Little flick. Mitchell trying to use that speed. Here's Blake, who is going to manage the game every time the ball gets into his hands. Russell turning. Referee says play on. Rampasad. Heavy touch by Garcia. And Lee is in his back pocket. First touch for Campbell. Campbell to the byline. Campbell's cross. Well, Tyrese Campbell, who started against Curacao, in Curacao in that 2-0 loss, was then dropped against Bermuda when Jamaica went back home the following match. Gets his entrance tonight in hostile territory. Kevin Molino, who scored against Jamaica in the Unity Cup in England in May, also scored for the Defence Force against Mount Pleasant, Trinidad against Jamaica, in the Caribbean Cup 2 weeks ago. In the semi-final of the Caribbean Cup, Mount Pleasant won that tie. Mount Pleasant plays the final, and Kevin Molino and Defence Force will play for the third spot against Chibao FC in a week's time. So Kevin Molino is in form. Jackie goes outside to Rampasad. Jamaica have their defensive shape, understanding what's at stake. Spicer trying to make a difference. Crowded out. Russell. Do Jamaica counter, or do they recycle? Out wide. And checking in was Dewan Richards. Dewan Whisper Richards, number 19, on this right-hand side, has checked in for Jamaica. Richards is a Chelsea U23 player and is absolutely deadly in open space. Here's Garcia, breaking lines, Kevin Molino, Rampasad, 5 Jamaicans back. And the top of the box is a shot. Excellent block by Jamaica, who are staying compact. And going down is Mitchell, no call by the referee. And here is Richards, the Chelsea U23 player. Russell and Richards not on the same page. Steve McLaren, an 18-month journey with his Jamaican national team, has engrossed himself in the culture of Jamaica. He said the food is as hot as the weather. And he loves the people of Jamaica. He loves the smiles, the attitude. And he understands the pain they're going through. Garcia, who's dropping back. And this is going to be a corner kick for TNT. A chance to get numbers forward. It was Mitchell colliding into the back of Isaac Hayden. Actually, it's Pinnock. Andre Rampasad, the threat at the back post. Kevin Molino. And the assistant referee is enjoying the blade of grass in which the players have to put down in that area. And Kevin Molino is getting Jackie is getting some housekeeping rules from referee Lopez. Any physicality, the ball is going to go in the other direction. The short read is on Jackie. Molino floated to the penalty spot, out by Lee. Raymond. Molino again, early cross, good delivery, and the header! Well, one side of the stadium thought it scored, and the other side was disappointed. It was Garcia who stayed up for the corner kick. Got the header at the near post, and it was inches wide of Andre Blake's left hand. Good delivery by Molino, and a thundering header by Garcia. That's the closest TNT has come in this second half. Henry. Rampasad. And you can see a 4-man press by Jamaica. And then they get back to defensive shape. Mitchell is bodied off expertly by Lowe. Nathaniel James of Portland, who plays in Jamaica, is off the bench and on the sidelines, getting ready to check in. Here's Richards. Excellent turn, and Richards' shot headed out by Garcia. And that was like a right cross to the nose of Garcia. Over the head of Jackie, didn't time the header. And believe it or not, Burrell, who's still on the field, has picked up the free kick. Burrell, who's been working hard defensively for McLaren, and it's going to be Tyrese Spicer, the Orlando City left winger, limps off, and in his place is the very attack-minded Nathaniel James. Nathaniel James, who plays in Portland. His home ground will no doubt be affected by Hurricane Melissa. And Bobby de Cordova-Reid, He has added de Cordova to his name because what his mother has provided to him in growing up. And in 2018, the man who's taking this free kick has applied his mother's maiden name, de Cordova, to his name. De Cordova Reed, about to take this free kick. Plays for Leicester City. A floater into the arms of Smith, who gets there with the second grab. Trinidad and Tobago have a little bit of daylight. Levi Garcia, a no-nonsense winger. Still Garcia. Garcia! The shot. Oh! And onside was Kevin Molino, who couldn't keep his balance. Actually, the referee has raised, sorry, the assistant referee has raised his flag for an offside, but Kevin Molino getting into a dangerous position. And this is Levi Garcia, who can go in either direction, leaving yellow shirts in his wake, hooking it back into the path of Molino. So Molino losing his balance. And here he is back on the ball again. Little toe to James. Gets past one, rides the second, gets past the third, goes down. And all eyes on referee Lopez, who says it's going to be a throw-in for TNT. 15 minutes remaining. Trinidad and Tobago need 2 goals. Raymond's cross. Out by Reed. A second header by Lee. Brought down by Burrell. Campbell. Tyrese Tupac Campbell, named after the American rapper. Here he is. Rewan Whisper Richards inside. Back out to Burrell, 1v1 with Payne. Crowded out by Jackie. Slide tackle. Rampasad can't find Molino. Jamaica doing a good job just keeping the ball in front of them, not taking any risks. The shot from way out by Russell was a low probability of a turnover. This was Hayden and Molino, and Hayden wins the free kick. Molino, ball plays inside and comes off the foot of Lowe. Question is, looks like maybe it was Mitchell, the substitute, who got the last touch. So Curacao goes up by 6 goals to 0 over Bermuda, as Hayden goes back to the deck and is going to need some medical treatment. It is the rule of FIFA that any player that has a head injury will have to be attended to. And Kevin Molino, does he have any magic left in those boots of his? And Jamaica, can they see through the last 12 minutes in this match in the Hasty Crawford Stadium? And it was Molino falling on the head of Hayden. You can see where the injury occurred. Jamaica 7 matches unbeaten coming into this match. So Jamaica looking to their bench again. Steve McLaren is going to make his final 2 changes. Number 16, Karoy Anderson, about to check in. And Rico Henry, who plays for the Premier League club Brentford, is about to check in at left back. He will get an opportunity to play. Henry at number 3. Jamaica still have possession. Richards. Ronaldo Cephas has broken the deadlock in the 53rd minute and given Jamaica a foothold in this match and 1 foot into World Cup 2026. Campbell's cross. And some more seconds will come off the clock and a chance for Jamaica to make 2 more substitutions. Andre Rampersad, whose season has just ended in Canada. So coming off will be Burrell at centre forward. Checking in will be Anderson. Checking in at left back, Rico Henry. Rico Henry again, Brentford. This is his first call-up, just got his passport today to get the chance to represent Jamaica. Playing his 10th season for Brentford. Started his career in Walsall. As for Karoy Anderson, he plays for Charlton Athletic. And his teammate Tyrese Campbell, who's on the pitch with him, will be a welcome addition. Corner for Jamaica, punched out by Smith. A shrug coming from Anderson. Possession remains with the Reggae Boys. There are 8.5 minutes to the finish line in what was considered their most heated rivalry, in their biggest contest in this group stage. This will be an incredible result for them, coming into this match, understanding what was at stake. And then after the first 45 minutes, where TNT had 65% of possession, Steve McLaren stuck to his guns, stuck to his principles, and Jamaica, through their left winger in Cephas, has that 1-0 lead. Mitchell. Well, the young man who's born of Trinidad and Tobago parents, who lives and has been born and raised in New Jersey, plays for New York Red Bulls too. He's getting his chance tonight to make his debut for Trinidad and Tobago. Garcia. It'll be a long flight back to Garcia to Vietnam if Trinidad and Tobago cannot find 2 goals. They need to win. And Jamaica, free kick for the Reggae Boys. Jamaica just needed 4 points from these last 2 matches. And to get 3 in TNT will mean they just need 1 back home in Kingston against the 2nd place team, Curacao. Jamaica will want some payback against Curacao. They lost that match by 2-0 in Curacao last month. Kobe Henry. TNT will play against Bermuda on Tuesday. They defeated Bermuda last month by 3-0. And Bermuda has been taken behind the woodshed against Curacao tonight, down by 6-0. Curacao will not want to settle for 2nd place, going up against Jamaica. Here's Payne. Good delivery. Out by Lowe. We're down to 5.5 minutes remaining rather, in the Hasty Crawford Stadium. The crowd has been subdued. Rampasad. Clipped into the box. Brought down. Mitchell into the path. Molino! He has given TNT a lifeline. Kevin Molino, the last of the remaining legends, has given Dwight York, the ultimate legend, an extra heartbeat, and has given the red, black and white an extra breath. It is going to be a race to the line with 5 minutes in regular time remaining in the second half. Jamaica asking the referee for a VAR second look. Was there a foul on Lowe? That was the question. It was Garcia who laid it off to Mitchell, who then flicked it to Molino, who finished. But the confrontation was Garcia and Lowe, and that's what VAR is checking. Dwight York is pumped, and the sea of red is back on its feet. And referee has pointed to the spot. Trinidad and Tobago 1, Jamaica 1. Kevin Molino has dragged this game back. Jamaica will no doubt try to get these seconds off the clock, the remaining seconds off the clock, and Trinidad and Tobago will be desperate to make something happen. Blake. Throw in for TNT. Jamaica getting back their defensive posture. Excellent feed by Garcia, another feed by Mitchell, and the finish by Molino. Lowe is being treated to. Jamaica a player down. Kevin Molino in the 85th. Mitchell, Jamaica starting to get out of sorts. Mitchell's shot ricocheting. Blake, excellent ball, and it's allowed Campbell to have some space, and will try to get to that corner flag. Slips it into Rico Henry. Henry into the box. Henry's shot. Well, Kevin Molino has just gotten his 26th goal for his country, and maybe his most important. Richards dispossessed. Down the line, excellent ball to Holgate, who's in no hurry, going up against Raymond, who is a pit bull, asking for the free kick, doesn't get it. Andre Raymond left for dead, or left on an island against Cephas, who did the rest to give Jamaica the 1-0 lead. Holgate's throw. A minute and a half remaining left in regular time. Flicked onto the last post. Smith gathers, but the red shirts need to progress. Out wide, there's the outlet. Levi Garcia blows past one. This is going to be a yellow card for Rico Henry. He will gladly accept it. Well, he gets his passport and he gets a yellow card in a matter of minutes. Rico Henry, the man from Brentford. red shirts are now piling into the box. All eyes on Denzel Smith. Warrior Nation on their feet. How good is the delivery? Smith hesitant. Lofted. It's a good delivery. Out by Jamaica. Kevin Molino. Garcia. Kevin Molino. Early cross, a good delivery into the arms of Blake. And that will do it for regular time. Blake will try to release Campbell. Poor kick, gets it back to Molino. 5 minutes of injury time, an eternity in Hasely Crawford Stadium. Raymond. The back heel. Nathaniel James. Well, the youngster who applies his trade in Jamaica would like nothing else than to have the last laugh. But this Jamaican team is built around defense, grit, attitude and fight. And they have a man by the name of Andre Blake standing behind that line. Noah Powder will check in. Powder lost his place to Tyrese Spicer in recent months. Andre Raymond checks out. Mitchell. Excellent touch to Molino, who can't find the ball, but he finds it back. Garcia. Molino. Excellent tackle, broken up. It was Kira Anderson to the path of Campbell, back to Anderson. There's the outlet, Richards. 1v1 with Powder. Referee says play on. And TNT have a window. Slip through Mitchell. He goes down. Referee has now given a yellow card to Reed. And did Mitchell injure himself? Dwight York immediately asking, who else do we have in case Mitchell is injured? Educated ball, splitting the defense, and Mitchell has a flat tire. Hamstring is gone, and that is no good for Dwight York and TNT. And this young man, who has made his debut tonight, has been only on the pitch for the better part of 15 minutes. Has just received a painful injury. And we're going to get confirmation to see if Reed was booked for descent. Well, Cephas with an incredible strike, individual effort to give Jamaica that 1-0 lead. An important first goal that set the table and quiet the crowd and put Jamaica on his back. And then it was Mitchell to Molino, and the clever, crafty veteran drags it back to 1-1. So we all knotted up at 1-1. Dwight York once more, and Kevin Molino with goal number 26 for TNT. Anyway will do for Jamaica. A minute and a half remaining in injury time. And Mitchell will find his way back on the pitch. Flat tire and all. .60 seconds remaining in injury time. This is what the group stage looks like. Curacao 7 goals to the good over Bermuda. Jamaica will go into Tuesday's match in Kingston, needing a win to topple Curacao to get to first place. 30 seconds remaining. Garcia, Payne, it's all disjointed. It is all just heart and hustle at this point. Free kick for Jamaica, important seconds coming off the clock. Misunderstanding with Henry and Rampasad. Henry just lofts it into the abyss. Garcia wanted a shrug at the back. All eyes on referee Lopez. Noah Powder gets it back. The last chance saloon for TNT. And referee is not going for the physicality on Andre Blake, and that may do it in this tie. As Lowe, who has come on, and he has asked, and he said the best gift we can give the Jamaicans is a smile on their face. Well, it looks to be a draw tonight. And this man, Lowe, has put in a shift for Jamaica. Rampasad. And referee Lopez has blown off for 90 minutes. Jamaica playing their first match, coming in after the catastrophic hurricane. Hurricane Melissa gets a draw away to Trinidad and Tobago. Without the win, Dwight York and TNT cannot qualify for the World Cup in 2026. Kevin Molino and TNT's dreams have come to an end. But with Jamaica, they needed 4 points in their final 2 games. Steve McLaren gets an important 1 point. They understood how difficult this point or this result would have been coming into TNT, and they eked out a draw off the back of Ronaldo Cephas and a valiant defensive effort. Kevin Molino dragged one back in the 85th, but it was not enough for TNT, who did not have enough invention and unrehearsed play in the final third to create chances to get a second goal. Payne had a fantastic effort against Cephas, but Cephas stuck through and beat Payne to get the ball in the back of the net for Jamaica, to get that first important goal, to now eke out a draw in the Hasely Crawford Stadium. So Jamaica head back to Jamaica, having to beat Curacao to get top spot in Group B. Curacao winning by 7-0 over Bermuda tonight, as Trinidad and Tobago bow out in Group B and will no longer qualify for the 2026 World Cup. So the all-important Group B match between Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, the El Clasico of the Caribbean, as Jamaica needing 4 points in their final 2 games to try to get in to the World Cup. It was Cephas on the move against Darren Payne. His cross can't find Russell as the Jamaicans try to knock on the door. Then Levi Garcia, 1v1 against King. His final twist and his shot drags past the last post. But this altercation will prove to be decisive, as King had to be substituted. And in his place came in Damian Lowe. Then a misunderstanding between Blake and the centre-back, and Payne's cross finds Tyrese Spiker, and Blake's save keeps his score at 0-0. The cross by Payne, the volley by Spicer, and the save from Blake. Payne again, recycling, finding Sealy. His shot, a dribbler to Blake. Dante Sealy did not have the impact tonight as he's done in games in the past. Then Rampasad from deep, Levi Garcia, the first play in the second half, And that's how close Trinidad and Tobago came from taking the lead. Then it was Trinidad and Tobago again from a corner kick. A clearance to Cephas, 1v1 with Freeman. And his 1v1 ability proves to be decisive. And that finish has brought Jamaica on their feet and given them a valuable 1-0 lead away to Trinidad and Tobago. Ronaldo Cephas gets his 3rd goal for his country, and what a time to get it. Then it was Spicer onto his right foot and his shot over the crossbar as they try to wave a comeback. Then Molino's cross and the header by Garcia just wide as the Soca Warriors try to find an equalizer. Levi Garcia twisting, turning, and Kevin Molino at the doorstep loses his balance and couldn't convert. Jamaica remain 1-0 as Garcia puts on a show. Then, with time running out, Garcia to Mitchell to Molino. The hesitation, the finish brought the crowd to its feet as Trinidad and Tobago level the scores at 1. The debutant Mitchell's flick on, he gets the assist. And Molino, the substitute, ties things up. Dwight York has some hope. But it was not enough, and Trinidad and Tobago has bowed out of the World Cup qualification zone, and Jamaica stay alive. Well, Jamaica's 1-1 draw has kept things interesting. Only 37% possession, but they were stubborn at the back and they managed the game to the best of their ability. And Ronaldo Cephas' individual effort was enough to get the all-important 1 point on the road in Trinidad and Tobago to keep them within distance to winning Group B on Tuesday in Jamaica. Where the group stage looks like this: Curacao rampant 7-0 over Bermuda. They travel to Jamaica to try to at least get a draw to get an automatic qualification for the first time in their history. But Jamaica, wanting revenge after that October loss, will try to win in their home ground for the first time since Hurricane Melissa to try to topple Curacao and get first place and qualify for the second time in their history. But from all of us on the broadcast team, my name is Ryan Davis. Jamaica rampant gets their 1 point as they finish with a draw. Thank you everyone for the broadcast. Thank you for joining us. We're signing off. Good night.